Hey everybody, it's Angie from Trips with Angie, and today I am taking your questions. So be sure to put them in the comments so I can answer them. I thought today we'd kick it off with a question I got earlier this week. Are Sandals resorts worth it? Is it worth going to a Sandals resort and paying a premium? Because a lot of times Sandals resorts do cost a little bit more than other all-inclusive resorts that are geared towards couples. But first, I wanted to issue a correction from yesterday's cruise video. So in yesterday's cruise video, I was talking about the rooms in the cabins, and I made a point that the good news about booking on a cruise is that if you book a balcony or a cabin with a window called an ocean view, you will see the ocean. You don't have to worry about a pool in the way or palm trees. And someone really helpfully pointed out in the comments from yesterday's video that that is not true of all cruise ships. How could I forget about the Royal Caribbean Oasis class ships? So yes, on Royal Caribbean, they have a class of ships where the inside is hollow and there's a kind of a central park area, there's a carnival area. And so yes, it is true. If you book a balcony on Royal Caribbean, there is a chance you will not have an ocean view. You will only have a view of the neighbors directly across the way. So keep that in mind. And thanks for the correction. I really appreciate it. So keep those questions coming in the comments, and I love to hear from you. So first, let's talk a little bit about Sandals Resorts. You've probably heard of them. They are heavily promoted within the United States and North America. They were one of the first all-inclusive resorts in the world. They have a lot of resorts in Jamaica. They also have resorts in the Bahamas, Antigua, Barbados, St. Lucia, and Grenada, and Antigua. Did I say Antigua? Sorry if I said it twice. And so a couple things that set them apart from other all-inclusives is that the first is that they include scuba diving. So that's a big inclusion for people who are avid divers, and actually other motorized water sports. So if you've been researching all-inclusive resorts, you may have noticed that a lot of times when it's listed what's included, it will say non-motorized water sports. And what that means are things like kayaks, sailboats, paddle boards, those big bikes that you can ride in the water, anything without a motor. Well, what sets Sandals apart is they include motorized water sports. So glass bottom boat tours, snorkeling trips on a boat out to a reef, scuba diving. At some resorts include jet skiing, or, when you're on that big round thing following behind a speedboat and it like moves you all around. Those are included. Then the other thing that Sandals has that a lot of other resorts don't have are true butler service. So these are English trained butlers. And I know on a recent live I did about Sandals Resort, somebody commented like they just thought it wasn't worth it. They didn't have an all-star butler experience. So this is really something, depending on how comfortable you are using a butler or what kind of needs you have during a particular stay, it could be worth it or it could be not worth it. But those are kind of the two big inclusions that Sandals resorts have that a lot of other resorts don't have. So I thought I would get down to just like a basic comparison between them. So what I did this morning was I looked up basically what would be two junior suite ocean views. So I went in, I picked a week, July 3rd through July 10th, and I pulled up the least expensive room at Sandals Montego Bay versus Sandals Wild Orchid to see what the pricing differences was. And then we could just talk a little bit more about it and what it means to be worth it. Well, first of all, I was pretty surprised how close they came into pricing. So as you can see, Sandals Montego Bay priced around $4,600 per couple, and Secrets Wild Orchid priced around $4,350 per couple. So it's not that big of a difference. It's only about $300 per couple or $150 per person. So I was kind of surprised at that. Usually the gap's a little bit bigger. Both resorts are in a very similar area. Sandals Montego Bay is right near the airport. It has a much better beach than what you find at Secrets Wild Orchid. Secret Wild Orchid is on the other side of the airport, so you don't get the plane noise, and it has cove beaches instead of the long sand beach that Sandals has. So all things being equal, I think as you decide whether or not something is worth it to you, and right, that's what we're all doing here. We're all trying to figure out if I'm going to invest my time and money to go somewhere, I wanted to meet my expectations, and I wanted to be a good fit for me and my family. And that's actually why I became a travel agent, was I saw a lot of people on vacation that were on vacations they had no business booking. People who absolutely loved the beach, who somehow ended up at a resort with a terrible beach, or people who really wanted a swim up bar ended up at a resort that didn't have a swim up bar. So I wanted to provide this YouTube channel and my services to my clients to really help you find that match between the kind of vacation you're looking for and the resort, cruise line, or tour that can offer it to you. So this question of is it worth it can only be answered by you. Now, there's a couple shortcuts, right? So for instance, if you're a scuba diver and plan to dive, the majority of days on your vacation, then yes, Sandals is going to be worth it. It's going to save you hundreds of dollars to be able to dive every day included in your vacation. If you are a person who absolutely loves water skiing, again, this is a no-brainer to head to Sandals. I think another differentiator with Sandals is some of their food. I think they have some of the best sourcing for beef in the Caribbean. So if you're a person who wants a steak at every meal, Sandals may be a good choice. So it just depends kind of what's important to you as you make decisions. Now, the truth is some of Sandals properties haven't been updated in a long time. So if an updated, fresh, modern room is really important to you, then Sandals will not be worth it because you'll be disappointed when you get there and some of the rooms are a little run down. So these are kind of the important things to think about. And just a quick reminder that all pricing is based on availability and subject to change. But if you want to book one of these, just email me, Angie@tripswithangie.com. But I think, when we think about is something worth it and is something going to work for you, it is what's important to you. Now, I think that in terms of some of Sandals' Caribbean resorts, they're absolutely worth it. There just isn't that level of true all-inclusive experience on those islands. So for instance, Sandals Barbados and Sandals Royal Barbados, those resorts are stellar and there just isn't anything else like it on the island of Barbados. Yeah, there's a couple other smaller all-inclusive family resorts, but you're just not going to get that, big all-inclusive beautiful resort experience with multiple gourmet dining restaurants that you're going to find at Sandals. The same with Grenada. There just isn't that same level of all-inclusive on Grenada. Now, Antigua, you have some alternative choices when it comes to couples resorts for all-inclusives, but again, it's going to offer you the most choice in dining. And so that is going to be worth it to you if you're a person who wants to try a new restaurant every single night. Now, when it comes to the Jamaica properties, I do think the gap narrows quite a bit. There's several all-inclusive resorts that cater to couples on the island of Jamaica. And in that case, I think it really is a resort by resort comparison. So as we were doing before with Sandals Montego Bay versus Secrets Wild Orchid, is the beach important to you? Well, then you're going to want to book the Sandals Montego Bay because it has a much better beach than Secrets Wild Orchid. Is it important to you to have motorized water sports? Do you want to have a lot of activities available at the resort? Then yes, absolutely, Sandals will be worth the upgrade. Now, if you just want a room with a swim up and a view of the swim up bar and the ocean, well, then maybe Secrets Wild Orchid is going to be the right choice for this trip. You don't need to pay the premium to stay at a Sandals resort. So those are just kind of some of the criteria as you think about the type of all-inclusive vacation you want to have and what is going to be worth it to you. So I hope this is helpful. Let me know. Also, let me know if there's any other questions you would like me to cover in the future. Thanks. Bye.